Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching this video from and when you're watching this video. It's Elzenitho. Yeah, it's been a long time. um, I've been quite busy with work. But let's see how it goes this week. I hope to upload more videos and be able to upload more tutorials, more gaming stuff. But for now, let's just take it, let's just go with the flow, right? Let's just go with the flow. So yeah, today we're going to do something very simple and straightforward, but also very, very creative, right? So we're going to be so I want to show you how to change the background of an image. So let's say, for example, you have this image, right, and you want to change the background, but you know that the air, it can be very, very funny having to select the air. So I'm going to show you how to properly select the image, change the background, and we can go a step further to animate the background, right? So we're going to use either Photoshop or Aftereffect. I don't know which one yet, but let's see how it goes. So the first thing you want to do is bring your image into Photoshop, right? So now that we have the image, you can see it's currently in the background. You can then go to select subject. Now, if you're using the latest versions of Photoshop, that's 2020 upward, you will definitely have select subject on your Photoshop. If you're not, you can just come to select and you go to subject. Either ways, it works the same way. And if you do not have that luxury and probably you're using an old version of Photoshop, you would have to probably use your selection tool. But yeah, I think most persons will be using the latest version of Photoshop. So I'll just click select subject. It's going to be a very short tutorial. Now that you have selected the subject, you will notice that it has selected it, but it's not so perfect, right? What you can do is you can use the polygonal lasso tool to just select, make sure that it's currently on plus, just select some random part, but I will not select too much, right? Just let's assume it's selected what we need, right? Just check around to make sure that other parts are properly selected. Yeah, so let's assume it's selected what we need. So what you want to do is select your brush, that's your quick selection tool, and come up here, you will see select and max. So click on select and max. When you click on select and max, so currently my smooth is 1. I will just leave it as 1. Then my contrast, I like bringing it between 13 and 15. My shift edge, now the lower your shift edge, the more the selection chops into the the character's body, right? So if I bring it down, you'll see that it keeps taking out parts of our hair and even some of our skin and stuff. But if I bring it up, you can see it has a full an entire body is showing. So just come here to contrast, reduce contrast, bring down shift edge just a little bit, and you should be good to go. In some cases you don't need to bring the shift edge down too much. So the next thing you want to do is just click on the contaminate color. Again, this is not a tutorial to show you how to remove background from here. I'm just showing you a very fast way that I do it. So the next thing is to just press OK. Now your image has been separated from the background. If I turn on this, you would see this is the background. If I turn, you can see some parts of the air are missing, but we are not really bothered about that. Our concern is to change the background. So what you want to then do is, there are two ways to bring in a new background. You can either just come here and go to solid color and change the background to whatever background you want. But if you want to retain this whole gradient vibe going on, but you want to change the color, just come here, choose hue and saturation, and under hue you can just change the color from here. So let's say we're going for something greenish. You can even increase the saturation just a little bit, right? Something like this. And yeah, don't touch lightness, because if you touch it, you can make it darker, you can make it lighter. You don't want that, right? I mean, if you want it to be darker, that's fine, but our major concern is to change the color, right? So yeah, we're going to leave it as this, right? Now this is what I want to show you. So first off, we have been able to change this color from what it used to be to this. Now I want to see how I can animate it in such a way that while the lady is there, right, the color is changing. So to do that, I'm going to convert this to a smart object. I'm going to also convert this to a smart object. Where are you? Right. Now the next thing we want to then do is this. Now that we have this our file, we can then save. We're going to animate it on After Effects. We can save our work. So let's just save this as background animation, right? Background animation. Now we're going to do two things. The first is we're going to, we have this already saved as an image, right? So we're going to save this lady as a PNG. So I want to show you how to animate it both on After Effects and also on Filmora or CapCut. So I'm going to export this lady. I'm going to just do a quick export to my downloads. So now that we have that, I'll just let me just save this as JPEG as well. Alright, now that we have done that, let's just close Photoshop and let's open After Effects. Alright, so new project. So for the new project, I'm just going to duplicate. I'll just select this. So let me show you. Just double click on this, then go to where your PSD file is, then make sure you are importing as composition, then import. Yeah, make sure it is editable layer styles and import. So when you import and you just double click, it's going to open it up here. Now you can see this is the hue and saturation, right? And this is the lady, and this is the background. So to animate, what we want to then do is we want to there are several ways to do it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just first let me change the composition to like 5 seconds. We just want to animate for like 5 seconds, right? So the first thing I want to do is, if you click on this, you'll see that there's nothing going on here. So in the actual sense, we actually want to just come here, control space to bring out this if you have this plugin. But if not, you can just use your preset, your effect and preset, then look for hue and saturation, right? So when you have that, if I turn this off and I change anything here, let me see, let's say I change, just watch as I change anything here, you can see that it changes on its own, right? Changes on its own. Now we are going to what's it called? We are going to animate it. To animate it is just to give it, to just keyframe it. So let's say we select the color range. So let's say we select color range, right? Let me open this. So we have color range selected, right? And we go to probably 3 seconds, then we select another color range. But after selecting this part, we just turn it somehow here, and when you go back, you can see it's turning on its own. So it's very, very simple. I'm going to let me repeat so that you can understand what I just did. So let me just delete this effect. So let's turn off this. We don't need this. So for After Effects, you don't really need this, right? You only need it when you are editing on Photoshop. So this is the main background. This is the lady standing on her own, right? This main background, you want to bring in the hue and saturation effect. So to do that, just press hue and saturation or locate it on your effect and presets. Now when you bring that in, normally if you change this like this, you'll see that it is like changing, right? So but we want to animate it such that as the time is going, it is being animated. So to do that, just make sure your cursor is on 0.00, like just the start point of this. then click on color, click on this stopwatch on color range. When you click on it, if you open it, you'll see that it has brought in a keyframe, right? So then take it to probably, let's say 4 seconds, and then add another keyframe. But when you've added this keyframe, then switch this to any number you want, probably let's say 300 or whatever number you want, right? Now, having done that, when you now go back, it has been animated. So if I press play, you'd see that the light is switching, right? And it's as simple as that. The light keeps switching. Very simple. So yeah, that's basically how to animate your text, your background. And you know, when you want to save, you can just export, add to render file, select the background, or select the wherever you want it to be saved. I'm going to save it on my desktop and just render it. So I'll show you what it looks like after it's finished rendering. It shouldn't take much time because it's not really an heavy render. So it has finished rendering. So let's go to our desktop. You can see it's animating. Very beautiful. So it's as simple as that. So yeah, that's basically it. Now to do the same thing in Filmora, let's quickly jump straight into it. I think I will just break this video into two. So the first is After Effects, the second is Filmora. So to do the same thing in Filmora, let's see how it looks like. Alright, so I'm going to open a new project. Right now, Filmora and CapCut, they are basically the same stuff, so you don't need to stress yourself. So this is the original image, right? This is the original image, so I'm going to drag it in here. And we saved the PNG file, but we don't know where we saved it. I'm not sure. And let me just do. We saved the PNG file, but I don't know where it is at the moment. So let's open it back. Alright, again, let's resave our PNG file. Let's export it as PNG. Let me confirm it. So it's confirmed. This is it here, right? So yeah, this is that. Let's close Photoshop. So when you bring in this PNG into this, now this one, just bring it in here. You can see that the dimension is different, right? You can come here, change the aspect ratio. Let's use portrait. So let's use portraits, and I'm going to bring this lady as well. So she's currently on the design, right? So I'm just going to try to drag it up and try to drag this down. Same thing with the lady, try to drag it up and try to drag it down. Now we have the lady here in front. That's the PNG file in front, then the background at the back. Now this background, let's right click and go to just double click on the background. Now okay, let me bring in, when you double click on the background, you have these properties here. If you are using the latest version of Filmora, if you are not using the latest version, just right click and look for properties. So yeah, select this. Now go to color. If you go to color and you look for hue and saturation, you should be able to find it somewhere. Where are you? I'm trying to look for where. Okay, this is hue, but it's not changing. Oh, okay, it's changing everything basically, but what we're interested in is like the entire color. So let's see if we can get it around here. All right, so we can use tints, but tints doesn't give us, like, it's very limited. It only goes from green to purple or magenta. I don't know what that color is. Why is there no hue and saturation? All right, so I think we'll just work with what we have. We'll just work with tint. Just let me explain to you how to animate on Filmora, right? So let's say we have our image here. It's 5 seconds, so we're currently on 0 seconds, and this is 5 seconds. So if you look at your tint, you see all this, icon here. This is your keyframe. So add keyframe. This is where you're going to like click on it, right? So just click on. Let me first bring it down here, right, to make it green. So click on this keyframe. So it's already, you see it has added a keyframe. Then drag this to the last point and change the color. Now you see that it has added another keyframe for you. So it is more or less like auto keyframing the entire thing instead of like After Effects where you have to then add another keyframe. This one is an auto keyframe process. So we can also do the same thing for, now it has been animated, this tint version has been animated. So if I go back and I press play, you see that it is animating straight into from green to magenta or purple. But we can do other stuffs. So for example, you can click on, you can bring this down here, click on this and take it up here, go up like this, then take it up again and go like this. So now we have animated both the tint and the temperature. So if we go down again and press play, you'll see that the color changes whichever way you want it to change, right? So that's basically how to animate a background, the color of a background on either Photoshop, After Effects, or Filmora/CapCut. And then imagine then you can then put in like a title. Let me bring this. Imagine bringing in a title or a text behind that. Very, very simple. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So let me lock this and lock this so that I can edit the text. So I can just call this background. So let me turn it and make it large and just bring it somewhere here, right? So let's call it background, and yeah, let's just leave it as that. Now if you play this, you can see the color changes while the text is behind that. Very, very simple and straightforward. Really, really simple, right? There's like it's limitless what you can do. Again, you can also animate the text. So for example, we have the text like this, and you can just come here. We have position, so I can just click on, I can first change the position of the text. Let me bring it down. Yeah, so let's bring it down, then press add a keyframe, then go to the last point and bring it up, right? Like just keep bringing it up till you're satisfied. So let's stop here, and you see it has added another one. So if I go back and I press, so yeah, now if you want it to be faster, all you need to do is just reduce the space between the two keyframes, right? So you can just make it faster like this, right? So the limitation with Filmora is that it doesn't have this ease in and ease out effect like like After Effects. But yeah, I hope this is something you will try out in your project, like wherever it is you are working on. And if this resonates with you, give me a like, comment and share, and also subscribe. And I'm going to see you next time.